2010, Army Private Bradley Manning is arrested and charged with aiding the enemy after providing more than 700,000 secret documents to the website WikiLeaks. According to military officials, Manning first started releasing the classified materials in 2009 while working in Iraq. It was a stark reminder that the threat to our national security can come from both outside and inside the military.
So here you have a young soldier who had access to secret data on a network, and he allegedly took large amounts of that data that was supposed to be secret and gave that to somebody outside the network. So we take it very seriously.
For West Pointers, the threat of an enemy among the ranks is of critical importance, and a concern that dates back to an era before the site was an academic institution. Constructed in 1778, West Point was originally built as a military fortress and was of key strategic importance during the American Revolution.
George Washington called West Point the most strategic location in America. He who controlled the Hudson would win the war.
The revolutionary troops were afraid the British would come down the Hudson, and they would separate New York from the rest of the colonies. And so they picked a spot in the river where the land kind of jutted out and you could get a chain across. And so there was a gigantic chain that was put from one side of the river to the other, which could be pulled up. If the British were coming, it would just stop them cold.
Although the commanders and soldiers at West Point prided themselves on being ready to respond to any attack, nothing could have prepared them for what became the Continental Army's most shocking and secret act of betrayal. In July 1780, General Benedict Arnold, one of George Washington's most trusted friends and colleagues, took command of the fort. But just 2 months later, he would become notorious as America's most infamous traitor.
He was a great combat leader, but he was very arrogant, and he thought he was being cheated out of promotions and pay and so on. So he got into a collaboration with Major John Andre, a British officer, to sell West Point for the price of 20,000 pounds sterling.
To communicate with his British co-conspirators, Arnold used a method eerily similar to today's high-tech security systems. A series of coded letters that could only be read with the help of a cipher.
John Andre, who had all the plans, the maps, was heading south after his deliberation and his conspiracy with Arnold, and he was captured by New York militia.
Luckily, Arnold's plot failed. Andre was executed, but Arnold fled to England, where he lived for nearly 2 decades. Today, on the wall of the old cadet chapel, only one of the 36 plaques designed to honor America's Revolutionary War generals is illegible, as the consonants and vowels of Benedict Arnold's name have been scratched clean by generations of unforgiving cadets. But perhaps there was another, more positive and profound legacy left to West Point by its most notorious would-be betrayer. For it was Arnold's friend, George Washington, who, after the Revolutionary War ended, first proposed that West Point go from being a place of shame to a school for officers, one where the virtues of honor, courage, and duty would be perpetuated.